The main character in this epic tale is a young man named Ren. He was expelled from the heroes group by his teammates because his only ability is to control animals. A beast tamer forms heart-binding contracts with a variety of creatures, commanding their mighty powers. Though beast taming isn't suited for direct combat, Ren always strived as a supportive member of the heroes' team, yearning to earn his comrades' trust. Little did he know, they deemed him utterly useless and kicked him out. He thought it was a joke, but the eyes of Arios, Agus, Lin, and Mina were filled with utter contempt. He was shattered by their mocking insults, calling him a worthless fool, all because Ren couldn't deal damage to enemies and only seemed to cause trouble for his team. Ren never realized that, in everyone's eyes, he was nothing but a burden. His hands trembled, his face darkened with pain, as he removed his cloak and walked away amid their scornful laughter. Ren sat slumped in solitude, reflecting on all he had endured. He was always judged during missions, simply for being a beast tamer with no other skills. Lost on what to do next, Ren was suddenly surrounded by a group of excited kids asking about his life as a hero. He stammered, unsure how to respond, but their eagerness pushed him to stand and tame a majestic eagle for them to see. There, he learned of the tarnished reputation of the heroes group among the local folk. Yet, the kids adored Ren for his playful spirit and dreamed of becoming adventurers themselves to chase riches. Hearing about adventurers sparked a bold idea in Ren's mind. Adventurers take on quests for rewarding pay. Without hesitation, Ren dashed straight to the Adventurers Guild. There, he met the receptionist, named Natalie. She was about to explain the Adventurers exam, when Ren politely asked for a detailed rundown on what adventurers do. After all, Arios's group always looked down on adventurers and avoided them. Seeing Ren's seriousness, Natalie was quite surprised. She explained that many candidates take this basic exam. Then, Natalie began to explain everything in detail to him. Her words struck his heart once more. Ready to proceed, she discussed the adventurer's exam, but hearing he was a beast tamer made Natalie worry he couldn't handle it alone. Her words pierced his heart, just like his teammates had. Yet, Ren rallied his spirit and tackled the first test, defeating 10 goblins and gathering 20 bundles of herbs. Thanks to his beast taming skills, Ren quickly found and defeated the 10 goblins, completing the E-rank quest. Suddenly, he heard desperate cries from afar. Rushing over, he saw a young woman surrounded by a deadly tiger. With his small blade, it was like a mere scratch to the beast. Seizing the moment as it turned to him, Ren urged the girl to flee. The tiger, she suddenly leaped high. At that time, with no animals to tame and no weapons in sight, he was at a loss. As he thought, the girl didn't run but positioned herself behind the tiger. She soared dozens of meters into the air and delivered a powerful punch to the tiger's back, felling it instantly. After defeating it, she shyly returned and perched on the tiger's back. The pink-haired girl, with a noble vibe, was named Canet. Ren realized she was from the Lynx tribe, one of the mightiest races, and the Lynx tribe was the rarest of them all. Suddenly, she showed signs of exhaustion and collapsed. Ren rushed to catch her, fearing she was hurt. To his surprise, whispering close, he heard she was just starving stiff. So, Ren shared his food with her, stunned that a Lynx tribesman, on the brink of extinction even among the strongest, was in such a state. Canet admitted she hadn't eaten in days. She nearly met her ancestors in the heavens. Ren helplessly urged her not to joke like that. Once full, Canet began introducing herself. Ren introduced himself too, only for Canet to tease him, insisting he call her by name, not formal titles. Ren wondered why she was in this forest. Canet said she grew tired of her quiet mountain life and set out on an adventure, fatefully meeting Ren. Already she demanded he share his life story. Ren didn't know why, but despite the pain, he opened up to Canet about everything. Hearing about his expulsion from the heroes group, Canet felt furious on his behalf. Ren was deeply grateful for her understanding. Though annoyed at those who cast him out, Canet let it go since Ren didn't dwell on it. In a tender moment, Ren gently patted her head in thanks, making her melt with delight. Ren realized it was instinct, but since she seemed okay, he let it be. Suddenly, Canet snapped back and insisted Ren wasn't useless at all. In fact, he was incredibly strong, with his beast taming skills standing out. It felt like he had tamed her too, with a spark of electricity the moment their eyes met. Perhaps he could tame the entire Lynx tribe if he could tame her. After all, few in the world can command them. But Ren thought not of power, he just wanted a deeper bond with Canet. Then, Ren bit his finger to draw blood and form a contract with her. During the contract, it only succeeds if Canet says her name willingly. To his joy she did, sealing their pact. The contract was complete when a red circular pattern appeared on her hand. They shook hands in warm celebration. Who knew a beast tamer like Ren, fresh from loss and uncertainty, could command the mightiest and most adorable race. But before heading to Fen City, he had to finish his adventurer's quest. Suddenly, seeing Ren make a temporary contract with a rabbit made Canet jealous, though she soon got lost in its fluffy fur. Watching him contract more rabbits to help harvest made Canet even more envious, like he was juggling too many hearts. Ren, innocently oblivious, left Canet fuming. In no time, Ren completed the quest and passed the exam. So, Natalie awarded him an E-rank adventurer's card, along with a reward of 50 copper coins. She advised that higher ranks bring more rewards, and Ren finished so quickly, she knew he'd rise fast. She was certain he'd level up soon. After receiving the coins, Ren went to Canet and announced he'd start taking quests now. She joyfully accepted and supported him fully. Suddenly, a bold thug stepped up to them. Spotting Canet as a rare Lynx tribeswoman, he was thrilled. She replied with a cold, icy tone, but it only excited him more, and he invited her for a drink. Then, he mocked Ren right in front of her, making her frown deepen. Without hesitation, she bristled like a cat and scolded him, declaring Ren as her master who commands her. He laughed in disbelief, thinking no one could command the mightiest race. Hearing her praise Ren as an exceptional beast tamer, he grew jealous and challenged Ren, wagering Canet. Despite the rumors about himself, and knowing avoiding this would let Duo target Canet, Ren took the risk. So, Ren fought bravely, and in seconds he effortlessly defeated the brute and claimed victory. The thug clutched his arm in agony and screamed. Natalie rushed out at the noise and saw it was the guild's notorious troublemaker. She apologized to Ren for his behavior and mentioned they were considering revoking his adventurer status. Before she could finish, he grabbed her skirt. That earned him a swift lesson from Natalie. After dealing with him, Natalie shifted her attitude completely, asking Ren why a beast tamer like him contracted the mightiest race. Her question made them both nervous, so they quickly apologized. Realizing she went too far, Natalie apologized for her tease and bid them farewell to handle the rest, then bid farewell to them before handling the rest. Reflecting on it, Ren wondered how he gained the strength to beat that guy, and Canet explained it to him. By contracting with the mightiest race like her, Ren's own powers were elevated to match the Lynx tribe. This surprised Ren, as no one back home had ever contracted such a powerful race. More than that, Canet was glad he stood up to protect her, leaving the young man bashful. Afterward, they set off on their assigned quest. Canet imagined adventurers wielding great swords or rescuing princesses, but it was just gathering herbs. Ren explained that as the lowest E-rank adventurer, he only got simple tasks for now. Hearing that, Canet perked up and eagerly helped with the harvesting. But in a flash, the rabbits he'd temporarily contracted finished her part too, leaving Canet flustered as she accused them of cheating and felt disappointed in her own role. Yet, she hadn't contributed anything to him. Suddenly, amid the chaos, she heard more shouts in the distance, so they rushed toward it. There, a gang of burly thugs was bullying an old man. As Canet knew from her travels, they were the Black Fang Bandits, a massive group of over 100 ruthless criminals. They were vicious and heartless, always up to no good. They were extremely dangerous foes, so she suggested Ren call for backup. But Ren knew time was running out, so they had to act now. Seeing Ren's courage, Canet felt proud. He tasked her with protecting the old man while he handled the thugs. With that, they charged in like a whirlwind, landing swift hooks on each foe. Suddenly, Canet worried about Ren's resolve. With his contract to the mightiest race, would the power corrupt him or change who he is? As his companion, shouldn't she be fighting up front instead? But Ren always stepped forward to shield her. Every time she saw him in battle, she couldn't look away, and her heart raced wildly. After defeating the bandits, Ren noticed Canet's face flushed like a ripe tomato, so she quickly explained and changed the subject. The old man approached to thank them both. Ren asked why a merchant like him had no guards. The old man replied that he had hired some, but they fled when trouble hit. Though saved, he warned Ren that the Black Fang were vengeful and would return, advising caution. Expecting Ren to flee in fear, the old man was shocked when Ren vowed to hunt them all down. Knowing they were violent and grudge-holding, not stopping them would endanger merchants in the town, Ren tracked their hideout with the help of a scout squirrel. Meanwhile, Canet brooded, disappointed in herself. As his companion, she hadn't done anything useful. Shaking it off, she asked about Ren's plan. His plan was to use the Earl Bee for a temporary contract, as its paralyzing venom would neutralize the guards. Canet was puzzled how he could tame an insect like that. Ren explained that back home he trained in insect taming, a sub-branch of beast taming for controlling bugs. Hearing this, Canet was in awe of Ren's hidden talents. Then, Ren asked Canet to return to town for reinforcements, surprising her again since she hadn't helped much yet. But she stayed optimistic and agreed to call the night order. They were the state-run protectors of cities and towns everywhere. As Canet left, the Earl Bees gathered, and Ren began his temporary contracts. Meanwhile, Lynn and Mina's group was fleeing desperately from the bandits. They took on a simple quest to kill time before conquering the Lost Forest, thinking it was foolproof. If they'd known, they'd have stayed with Arios and Aegis instead. In anger, Lynn blamed the beast tamer beside her for running first. He had told them he was just a beast tamer, not cut for fighting. Speaking of which, Lynn recalled how Ren, despite being called useless, fought on the front lines and tamed multiple beasts at once. The tamer was shocked that someone could tame many at a time, as even they couldn't handle 2, let alone 10, controlling many overloads the mind like scorching nerves. Yet, Lynn was skeptical, remembering Ren taming dozens with that weary face. In the end, Lynn decided to dump the failed quest on him alone. To save the hero group's reputation, she threatened the tamer, making him flee in fear. Though doubtful, Mina felt the description matched Ren. Lynn refused to believe Ren had such superior skills. Meanwhile, the Black Fang bandits were paralyzed by the Earl Bees, and Canet arrived with timely aid. But they were just other adventurers like Ren, not the Night Order. They were amazed Ren dared to challenge the Black Fang. Everything was going smoothly until a massive roar echoed from behind the door. It was the Lizard King, a C-rank beast the bandits had tamed. In a rage, the Lizard King swung its tail, sending everyone flying. Ren soared in and landed a powerful punch, followed by Canet's jaw-shattering blow. Ren urges everyone to evacuate to safety, so he and Canet can stay behind and face the battle together. In moments like this, he finds himself remembering the days he adventured with Arios's group. They must have thought he was utterly useless back then. But things are different for him now, especially with Canet as his loyal teammate by his side. Outside, everyone is worried and praying for the safety of those 2 brave souls. Thankfully, soon after, both of them emerge unharmed, standing before the crowd. In this intense moment, Ren finally earns the recognition he deserves after being cast out from the hero's party for seeming worthless. More than anything, with Canet at his side, he feels like he can take on any challenge that comes their way. It's amazing how having a special someone changes everything. After days of roughing it out, they finally rent a room. Canet seems utterly delighted with the soft, cozy bed. But Ren is shocked because the staff pushed them into sharing the same room. From the start, he wanted separate rooms for them, not this shared space with the playful cat girl. So, he volunteers to give it all up and sleep outside, leaving Canet completely surprised. She pulls him back, reminding him that they've already paid for the whole week. Ren explains that a guy and a girl just can't share a room like that. At first, Canet dismisses it, saying she wouldn't mind sharing with him at all. But then she blushes shyly and adds that as long as he doesn't try anything improper, it's fine. This prompts Ren to launch into a heartfelt lecture about life lessons, warning her not to trust anyone easily, since they barely know each other. In response, Canet denies it, saying she doesn't trust just anyone, like she trusts him they're not the same. From the moment they met, she saw him as a true teammate. Hearing her words, Ren feels a bit embarrassed and smiles, agreeing to stay and not sleep outside after all. That night, as he's sound asleep, a curious cat girl watches over him. In her heart, she's thinking that Ren might just be a genuinely good person. After all, she's always encountered people who approached her with ulterior motives, seeking her wealth or fame. As a rare Lynx tribe member, they've always tried to capture her. But Ren is different from all of them. He was just surprised by her with no hidden intentions. He saved her out of pure kindness. He treats her like any other girl, which fills her with joy. She senses the wounds in his heart from being kicked out of his team and wants to help heal them. Even if he seems to have moved on, she knows it's still weighing on him deep inside. A week has passed since they met, and they've smoothly completed their quests, with Ren rising to E-rank adventurer. Today, they hear from Natalie about a dangerous gatekeeper at the bridge. It's about a thug who picks fights with anyone crossing the bridge. Luckily, no one's died, but the number of people using the bridge has dropped sharply, so she tempts Ren to take on this quest. It's open to all ranks, and the reward is a whopping 5 gold coins. Hearing that reward, Ren doesn't hesitate for a second. Soon, the two of them head to the Stain Bridge. This is the only path from the central continent's Horizon City to the southern continent. Canet is thrilled by the stunning scenery and wonders what the gatekeeper is like, with Ren curious as well. He guesses that since no one died, there should be witness accounts, but the victims are staying silent, so they have no info on the gatekeeper. With the enemy unknown, he reminds himself not to let his guard down. Canet has spotted something flying above. Right now, Canet has spotted something flying in the sky. Looking closer, it's the rarest dragon race, and it's an adorable dragon girl at that. This girl is the dragon named Tamer. When she hears herself called the gatekeeper, she's not pleased, given her noble status. Tamer proudly says she's been trained since childhood. In dragon society, at 15, They embark on adventures to become truly strong, and Tanya wants to challenge them to find worthy opponents. Now, before her stands a top adventurer and a Lynx tribe member, which excites her greatly. Canet senses there's no other way. It looks like they'll have to fight this dragon from the strongest race. She reassures Ren to give it their all since she's from one of the strongest races too. So, both agree to take on Tanya in battle. Right at the start, Tanya charges in with a powerful strike, sending him flying back. Then, she breathes fire straight at Canet. To her surprise, Canet can't dodge in time and gets scorched. Her cattail, her pride and joy, is burned now she's fired up and ready to teach Tanya a lesson. The two clash fiercely in front of Ren, their strengths evenly matched, leaving him in awe. Then, Ren jumps in to support Canet. But Tanya blocks it effortlessly and grabs them both like toys. Tanya unleashes her ultimate fire blast at the two of them. In the nick of time, they coordinate perfectly to land safely and dodge the flames. After battling a dragon, Ren realizes why they're known as the mightiest race. So, he starts fighting in his true beast tamer style. He leaves Canet to hold the line for him. The loyal catgirl goes all out, delivering a flurry of fierce punches. Meanwhile, Ren focuses his mind on sensing a creature from earlier in the fight. He forms a temporary pact with an eagle, drawing its kind to him. Ren returns to Canet with a flock of eagles he's pact-bound, sending them to peck at Tanya. Though their pecks don't deal much damage, they suddenly immobilize Tanya. These are Peter birds, with vibrant colors that signal their poison. Even a dragon would be paralyzed for a while from that level of toxin. Surprisingly, Tanya admits defeat so easily, leaving the two of them stunned. Canet is overjoyed and hugs Ren tightly. Ren approaches and invites Tanya to join them. Tanya scoffs, thinking they want to sell her off. But for Ren, it's simply about having a proper conversation with her. Stubbornly, Tanya replies that she doesn't like the idea. Far from angry, Ren smiles gently at her, making Tanya suddenly feel a warmth and blush. Just as she's touched, the grumpy catgirl glares beside her, startling Tanya. Canet warns the dragon not to bother Ren, or she'll face the consequences. Back at the guild, Natalie is shocked that he's driven off the gatekeeper. She thanks him profusely, and is surprised by the new, fiery guest standing there. Seeing the horns and tail, Natalie guesses it's a dragon, but Ren quickly interrupts and lies that she's just a friend he met on the quest. Tanya flips her hair, about to introduce herself nobly, but they both cover her mouth and drag her away. On the way, as Ren discusses things, Tanya suddenly vanishes. She disappears because she challenges anyone strong to a one-on-one. Time and again, she tries to reveal her identity, exhausting the two as they chase after her. When reminded, Tanya looks sheepish, and Ren tells her to leave the city first. Since her gatekeeper status shouldn't spread, if she promises not to do it again, he'll let her go. Suddenly, Canet recalls why Tanya's identity didn't spread before. It's because the previous victims were too embarrassed to be beaten by a girl like her. In dragon lore, she now has to train again. Yet, she decides to train with them instead. Then, she hugs Ren and confesses that she likes him, making Canet bristle with annoyance nearby. On top of that, Tanya demands he make a pact with her. Ren never imagined he'd form pacts with both a Lynx tribe and a dragon tribe. After forming the pact, a red pattern appears on Tanya's hand. Now, she understands what it feels like to be bound. It's as if she'll always be connected to Ren no matter where they are. For Ren, it feels like he's used up all his luck in one go. Meanwhile, Arios's group is struggling, wandering the forest for a week with no progress. Suddenly, Arios thinks of luring Ren back to help them conquer the lost forest, then ditching him again. Canet and Tanya face off in a tense standoff over the bed, while Ren relaxes on the floor, unbothered by it all. In the end, Tanya joins Ren's party, and their new quest is to exterminate the slimes. Slimes are monsters that adventurers often ignore, leading to their rapid growth and destruction of fields. Canet really hates them because her punches leave her covered in sticky goo. Hearing that, Tanya boasts that she'll wipe them out with her fireball in an instant. Canet looks at her with total admiration, glad someone else is handling the dirty work. Their cheerful dynamic puts Ren at ease, worried they might not get along. After searching, they can't find any slimes. So, Ren uses assimilation to track them, sending part of his soul into a bird to fix his consciousness. This way, he can freely control the bird. This is assimilation, one of the beast tamer's skills. Canet and Tanya are stunned, mouths agape at what Ren can do. Then, he flies off to find the slime nest and guides the two of them there. A moment later, he leads them to the slime breeding ground. Canet plans to handle it quickly, but Tanya suggests letting Ren practice his magic first. When asked, he admits he's practiced fireball with a beginner instructor. Hearing that, Tanya urges him to try his fireball on the slimes, but Ren says his power isn't strong enough to take them all out. Still, he decides to focus and release a fireball. To his surprise, the blast is extraordinarily powerful, wiping out the slimes instantly. Tamer explains it's because he's made a pact with a dragon like her. Dragon magic is the second strongest among races, so now he has that power too. That's why his strength has surged like a dragon's. Hearing this, Ren feels overwhelmed, carrying the might of two supreme races and struggling to keep up. Then, Tamer and Canet team up to train his magic control. But this dragon teacher is so intense that Ren is exhausted to the bone. Thanks to that, he masters most of his magic control. After collecting their reward from the guild, Ren treats the two beauties to a feast. Now it's Ren's turn to be shocked by their enormous appetites, enough to bankrupt even a tycoon. After eating, Tamer curiously asks where Ren learned his taming skills. Ren thinks it's not very exciting. Still, he shares that his beast-taming power comes from his hometown. It was a village of beast tamers. Both his parents were beast tamers. So, from birth, Ren naturally learned taming. And the insect taming he showed Canet was taught by the villagers. Though it was a small, nameless village, it was once a good home. Now it's gone forever. Hearing this, Tamer feels a bit guilty for bringing up his painful past, but they truly want to understand him more. At first Ren hesitates, but he realizes they're his teammates, so he agrees to share his story. It was when Ren was 12. That day his parents were busy and couldn't watch his training. So, he practiced alone at the edge of the village. Ren trained until the sun set. As night fell, he noticed the sky was strangely red, and ran back to the village as fast as he could. By the time he arrived, it was too late. The village was engulfed in flames from a monster attack, and he was the only survivor. Adventurers rescued him after realizing the disaster. From then on, Ren lived and worked at an inn owned by the rescuer's acquaintance, striving just to survive. Life went on like that until, half a year ago, he met Arios's group. They were recruiting, so they invited him along. Ren agreed right away, hoping to make a difference with the heroes and prevent tragedies like his hometowns. But reality hit. Hard Arios's group saw him only as a convenient pawn. This story plunges Ren back into darkness, but suddenly, Canet takes his hand and comforts him. She tells him he's a brave hero, always charging into danger and giving his all. They understand him and know he wants to be a strength for others, because he doesn't want anyone else to suffer as he did. So, they reassure him that he's not a tragedy, he's their hope. Even Tamer feels deeply frustrated by his foolish actions. Yet, both young women beam with pride for having such a master as him. The next day, they take on a new quest. This quest involves subjugating orcs, a rank E task, not much different from the Goblin Lin. The only difference is that orcs are smarter, as they wield weapons in battle. Though Doi warns them not to underestimate these orcs, a noble like Tamer feels utterly confident that she could never lose to such creatures. Little did she know, mid-battle, Tamer freezes in shock as the orc nearly traps her twice. Luckily, Ren and Canet arrive just in time to save her, leaving Ren with a minor injury. Fortunately, his bond with her keeps him safe. Tamer wears a face full of regret and worry for him, blaming herself deeply. Afterward, they collect their rewards and return to the guild. As Ren steps out, he sees only Canet looking downcast. When he asks, she replies that Tamer seems unwell and has gone off alone. Tamer stands sadly on the bridge when a child approaches, asking what she defeated today. The girl worries and asks if Tamer is hurt somewhere and urges her to speak up if she's injured. Receiving the girl's comforting words, Tamer feels a bit more hopeful and reflects on how Ren worried for her, yet she ignored it. Her pride as the mightiest race makes her unsure how to face him now. Suddenly, Ren appears, leaving her flustered, and she bows her head to apologize for earlier. Tears well up in her eyes as Ren gently strokes her head and smiles warmly. He reassures her and mentions that Canet is worried too. Back at the inn, Tamer realizes he's not angry but fears for her safety. On top of that, he even offers her his bed. In that moment, Tamer can't shake Ren's face from her thoughts. This makes her resolve to steady her mind and not be so careless. The next day, they set out on another mission. Tamer feels it's time to upgrade their equipment. As the mightiest race, it's no issue for them. But for Ren, an ordinary human, it's different. Suddenly, Ren freezes because ahead, as they walk along cheerfully, Ren suddenly freezes at the sight of Arios's group appearing. They're strolling when Arios's group approaches to greet them. Seeing that group, Ren dislikes them instantly and leads Canet and Tamer away. Yet, Arios shamelessly calls him back, asking why he's so cold, like a lizard. Worse, he puts on a fake friendly tone, reminiscing about their past as teammates and claiming they're full of regret. Seeing their master being bullied, Canet and Tamer step forward boldly to protect him. They're stunned to see the mightiest races beside Ren. They can't believe Ren can command the mightiest races. Then, They invite him to help conquer the lost forest. Since Ren can control all beasts, exploring the forest or carrying luggage would be effortless. His outrageous words fill Ren with fury. They kicked him out before, and now they dare ask him to bear the burden. Their rude attitudes make him want to strike them, so he refuses without hesitation. Afterward, he leads the two girls away, but suddenly Mina calls him back. She appeals with a noble tale of saving the world to soften his heart. Deep in the forest lies a sacred artifact needed to defeat the Demon King. Without it, they can't beat the Demon King, and monsters will overrun the world. The strong can fight, but ordinary people will suffer. This story stirs Ren's tragic memories. It's the image of his village engulfed in flames. This creates a fierce inner struggle, and his kindness wins out. Ren agrees to join and support Arios's group, yet they show no welcome, openly disrespecting him right in front of the two beauties. Though reluctant, since their master decided, the two have no objections, but they demand that the group apologize to Ren properly. They even say kneeling and bowing would make it acceptable. Forced to kneel and bow, Arios boils with rage. His whole group is arrogant and feels no wrong. Arios steps up, grabs Ren's collar, and scolds him for not controlling his pets. Hearing Canet and Tanya called pets, Ren shows clear annoyance. Insulted for his teammates, Ren lands a punch that knocks him back. Ren's eyes turn fierce, warning them not to touch his teammates. So, Arios stands and challenges Ren to a fight. Canet and Tanya will handle the others, while Arios fights Ren. First, August battles Canet. Furious, she wants to fight him one-on-one and make him apologize to Ren. Canet charges in like a storm, overwhelming him. Himself, it seems like it might be too much for August, unleashes his fireblade, seeming overwhelming for Canet, but she kicks effortlessly, sending him spitting blood into a tree. After that, he's all out, so she decides to use half her strength to continue. He's baffled by Canet's adorable yet terrifying power. His hands and feet tremble as she mentions using only half her strength. Without delay, Canet leaps and kicks, sending him spitting blood into a tree again. Meanwhile, Tanya handles these two weaklings. With just a snap of her fingers, she nullifies their magic. Their stunned faces make Tanya smile brightly. They stubbornly combine spells against her, but Tanya snaps and makes them vanish. Simply put, their magic has no effect on her. Unable to fight, they resort to insulting Tanya as a lizard and launching attacks. But every time, Tanya snaps and dispels their magic. She drains their will to fight, leaving them collapsed before her. Though she dislikes bullying the weak, since they targeted her master, she'll teach them a real lesson in magic. The sky darkens with clouds, terrifying the two. They expect Tanya to strike, but she's just scaring them, leaving them pale with fear. Tanya holds back because she fears Ren would scold her, so she spares them. From the start, Arios insults Ren, but he responds with a straight punch, and so the fight begins. Ren realizes he's facing a true hero and respects his sword skills. But quickly, Ren regains his beast-tamer composure. The power of his attacks comes from his pact with Canet and his training to see through opponents. From that moment, Ren observes Arios's fights, noting every sword swing, every step, every feint. Ren grasps Arios's movements to a certain degree. In each of Ren's attacks, there's the concentrated strength of the mightiest races. If Ren fights seriously, defeat would be Arios's. So, he advises him to surrender. Arios refuses stubbornly. So, Ren uses the Count B's paralyzing move on Arios, forcing his defeat, still holding a grudge for insulting his teammates. Defeated, Arios tries to rekindle old ties pathetically, but Ren is no longer naive enough to be led astray. Ren delivers another punch to Arios, but luckily, he lessens the force. If he put full power into that punch, Arios would be done for. Just then, Canet and Tanya arrive and rush into Ren's arms. The three then enter the lost forest together, but it's damp and shadowy. Tanya even considers burning the whole forest, but Ren stops her because many animals live there. Ren thinks that if there's a real shield here, only a hero can use it. Looking at the map Arios's group drew, Ren feels it's useless since the area has grown rapidly. Recalling how Tanya scared Arios's group earlier, Ren feels more at ease. Arios starts sharing that deep in the forest, a beast guards the true shield. It's the essential weapon to defeat the Demon King. Though sharing info, this shameless one still acts superior without remorse, so Canet scolds him, and just a head pat from Ren makes both forget everything. Both Canet and Tanya feel they don't deserve Ren's help. Tanya even thinks of defeating the Demon King herself. Sensing their worry, Ren pats their heads to reassure. They say it'll be fine. Then, Ren calls a bird and plans to merge with it as before to explore the forest. Canet and Tanya will stay alert and guard his body. Flying above, Ren spots a hidden path. Though narrow, it seems to lead to the forest's depths. Ren returns to guide them, but after walking, they end up back at the marked spot, leaving them disappointed. Canet thinks they're just lost. But as Ren says, since he followed the birds, if it were just him, getting lost is normal, but not for the whole group. Even Tanya agrees with Ren and senses some trick in the forest. Then, Tanya creates a magic circle to take them to their destination. Tanya guesses right there's an illusion spell on the central tree, that's why they were wandering. Hearing Tanya's explanation, Canet is utterly amazed. Tanya assigns Canet to chop down the tree, as it's enchanted. Removing it will let them move forward, but Ren wonders if there's a way to break the barrier without cutting the tree. Tanya senses the barrier is strong. It's possible, but it would take time. As Canet prepares her punch, she's suddenly frightened by a voice in the air, telling them to leave, and from the tree emerges a white-haired girl named Sora. Ren quickly recognizes her as a spirit race member. Like Canet and Tanya, she's one of the mightiest races, a magic expert with power surpassing the dragon race, but over 200 years ago, the spirit race hid from humans. From the start, humans chopping forests were like predators to the spirit race. Finally, conflicts erupted, and the spirit race secluded themselves. Since then, the spirit race has deeply hated humans. Ren tries to greet her, but she shoos him away bluntly. She even considers eliminating them with her power, sending the group fleeing in fear. They wonder why she's attacking them. Normally, the spirit race is a peaceful race. Ren feels from the start her appearance is strange. He thinks it's because they neared the barrier. And Ren finds it odd if they truly hate humans, would they ally with beasts? Before Ren can think more, Tanya decides to press on. She'll handle suppressing the girl's magic. Meanwhile, Canet will chop the tree, as long as Tanya doesn't defeat the girl, following Ren's wishes. But unexpectedly, he still wants to negotiate with the girl again, leaving both shocked at his naivety. Yet, they go along with Ren's kind-hearted thinking. Seeing them return, the girl is furious and chases them away. Ignoring Ren's words, she immediately casts magic to eliminate them. Canet and Tanya sense danger and move, but he stops them. Ren thinks he can withstand these attacks. As a beast tamer, he won't give up. By facing seriously, emotions can be shared. So, Ren endures the attacks, surprising the girl. Sora can't understand his actions and questions if he's really human. She's afraid he'll be like the humans who harmed her home. Though he can't prove he's not evil, Ren wants Sora to trust he means no harm. Sora stays alert, unbothered by his words, and shoots another arrow at him. But luckily, Canet and Tanya block it. They speak up to explain that Ren isn't a bad person. Watching them argue, Sora finds humans, and even the dragon and cat spirit races, strangely unique. For her, people like them are a first. Finally, Sora agrees to sit and talk with them. Hearing Ren's story about seeking the true shield for the hero's team but hitting the barrier, Sora explains it's her barrier, and she won't let them break it. Because it blocks the path to the spirit race's village, she can't risk her people. But Tanya pointed out, wasn't she just hiding the demon beast with her actions? And Sora replied that there are no such shields of truth in this forest. In the deepest areas, there's only the path leading to the Spirit Clan village. The shield of truth is guarded by the Spirit Clan. Now they realize the heroes have been deceived. Sora also said that if they must defeat the Demon King, she would lend it to them. Then, in a flash of melody, she vanished and returned, emotionless, holding the massive shield, leaving Ren utterly stunned. Though she despises humans, she can't forgive the demon beasts even more. The three of them received the shield so easily and wanted to repay her somehow. But Sora refused, saying the shield of truth was an ancient pact between the Spirit Clan and the heroes of old, and she was merely honoring it. After taking the shield, the three thanked Sora and headed back to the city. Watching them go, it seemed Sora had something more to say. Ren seemed to sense it and turned back to ask her. Sora struggled with words unspoken, knowing if she spoke, Ren's group might offer their power and get drawn into her troubles. And that would pull them into her chaos, so she tried to refuse, but Ren's words cut her off. He said that no matter the danger, they wouldn't mind at all. Tanya and Canet also spoke up, promising to help her fully. Seeing they were trustworthy, Sora decided to open up. She has a twin sister named Runa. That girl has a very different personality, but they get along well. The two sisters manage the barrier leading to the Spirit Clan's hidden path. Though the job is a bit dull, whenever they're together, Sora feels joyful. But one day, because of Sora's group duties, they stepped outside the barrier briefly. There, they encountered the Demon King himself. Though they tried to flee, he caught up, forcing them to fight. But they couldn't defeat him, and Runa was captured. That demon is the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a C-rank demon. Normally it's no match for the mightiest race. But this one's traits are troublesome. It can nullify magic attacks, so only physical strikes work against the Dark Knight. The Spirit Clan relies on magic, creating a devastating weakness. As Sora explained, the Dark Knight's goal is to wipe out their greatest enemies, the mightiest race. He demanded Sora drop the barrier if she wants to save Runa. But she couldn't agree, as it would endanger her entire clan. Alone, she was powerless. So she sought help from the village elder, but he told her to abandon Runa, blaming their carelessness for leaving the barrier. Even Tanya thought the elder was heartless. Now Sora is torn between her sister's life and the safety of the village. This dilemma fills her with anguish and heartbreak. Seeing her so sorrowful, Ren offered to help rescue her sister, moving her to tears as she leaned on him. The Dark Knight demanded Sora lower the forest barrier before sunset today, or her sister would be lost forever, so Ren's group hurried to find him. Sora wanted to join, but Ren calmed her, saying if she came, the Dark Knight might see it as betrayal and harm Runa. That night they spotted the Dark Knight with Runa tied up high. Seizing the moment, the three charged in to overwhelm the Dark Knight. They used magic to distract him, then Canet lunged in for a powerful physical strike to his head. Next, Ren punched straight into his gut, but the foe still stood. The Dark Knight mistook Ren for a hero, and realized Sora had sought their help, fueling his rage at the betrayal. The Dark Knight immediately tried to eliminate Runa, but Tanya's dragon wings blocked the attack just in time. Tanya untied and rescued the girl, leaving the rest to the two. Furious, the Dark Knight unleashed his full fury. In that instant, Ren deduced the Dark Knight infiltrated the Spirit Clan village through the Demon King's dark powers. Ren felt something was wrong. If this continued, the entire forest would be destroyed, so he tasked Canet with immobilizing him, then gathered his strength for a decisive punch. Canet worried her strength might not suffice against his toughness, but she followed Ren's order. Meanwhile, Ren focused on forging a pact, summoning the Count Bees once more. Though the bees couldn't paralyze him, they could distract him briefly, giving Canet the opening to land her strike. Ren enhanced Canet with magic, letting her power surge like a raging storm. Just as Ren predicted, that punch vaporized the Dark Knight in an instant. Canet thrilled in the power Ren had granted her. He explained it was the unique magic of a beast tamer, amplifying her innate strength for a short time. Before, he lacked the magic power, but with Tanya's energy, he succeeded. At that moment, Tanya appeared, safely holding Runa. Tanya was amazed that enhancement magic, a lost art, was in Ren's grasp. Ren just scratched his head, saying it came to him naturally, as always. With success, everyone celebrated joyfully, and the noise woke little Runa. They reunited the sisters, Sora and Runa. Sora was deeply grateful, if not for Ren's group. She dreaded what horrors awaited. But these images were just Ren's imagination. In reality, the sisters returned to their usual bickering. Ren thought that though they look identical, their personalities are like night and day. But the sisters no longer wanted to guard here, as Sora couldn't stay with those who would abandon her sister. They yearned to see the outside world, not remain in the forest. Hearing this, Canet invited the sisters to join Ren's group for more adventure. Tanya didn't object to the idea. Ren worried for the sisters, fearing risks if they joined a human party. But Sora shyly reminded him. Didn't he say humans have good and bad? Even if others are unknown, with you, Ren, she'd love to embark on this journey. Touched by their words, Ren welcomed them warmly, and the sisters demanded a pact like Canet and Tanya. Taming the Spirit Clan is tricky for Ren, as each race has different structures. He could use basic taming methods. But for the Spirit Clan, it's beyond his usual scope. He saw it as a personal challenge. Ren began the magic ritual to bind both Sora and Runa at once. Finally, the pact with the sisters succeeded, but it drained him greatly due to their mighty race, leaving Ren exhausted and collapsing. Luckily, Sora and Runa caught him in time. Witnessing this, Canet and Tanya felt a surge of jealousy. After completing the quest, Ren went to meet the heroes group. He held up the shield of truth, leaving everyone in awe. Arios was bitter that Ren conquered it in just 2 days. While they struggled for a week and even thought it was a fake, Ren didn't bother explaining. He let them check and see for themselves. Mina began the magic appraisal on the shield and confirmed it was genuine. 100% real. Though Arios couldn't believe it, his eyes wandered to the 2 new faces with curiosity. Ren stood firm and told him not to worry about them. Fortunately, Ren had advised the 2 to hide their wings, as revealing the Spirit Clan in human lands would cause a uproar. Right after, Ren demanded his reward. After verifying the quest's completion, Ren swore to never get involved with this group again. Suddenly, August called Ren and asked if he wanted to rejoin the party. This made Arios furious, scolding him harshly. August wanted everyone to think it through. From recent events, they surely understood Ren's support was essential. After some thought, no one objected. August approached Ren, offering better pay, treatment, and welcoming him as a true comrade for their adventures. But then he told Ren not to dwell on the past, making him pause. Ren felt they hadn't changed at all from before. He realized how foolish he had been. At that moment, Canet stepped forward to bolster Ren's spirits. She extended her hand, saying, "We're waiting for you." Seeing Ren's refusal, August urged that defeating the Demon King would bring status, fame, and vast wealth. But for Ren, he didn't need those things. What he wanted was true comrades, but they remained unchanged. Now, he had exactly what he desired right here. Since Arios couldn't convince him, they resorted to bitter insults. Only Arios sat reflecting on his fight with Ren. The pain wasn't just physical, it was an enduring shame. He couldn't believe a hero like him was defeated by that one. Arios harbored resentment, vowing to erase Ren with his own hands. They wondered why only heroes can defeat the Demon King, so Ren explained that according to legend, the Demon King ruled humans with immense power, leaving them helpless. The first hero made a pact with the gods, taking their blood into his body to vanquish the Demon King. He defeated the Demon King, freed humanity, and brought peace. They felt the first hero was legendary, unlike today's heroes who pale in comparison. So only heroes with the god's blood can grow without limits, accumulate power, and use it to defeat the Demon King. Canet thought someone as weak as Arios didn't seem like one. And as Sora thought, by that logic, Ren seems like a hero too. Since he formed pacts with 3 mighty races and absorbed their abilities, they saw he had surpassed human limits. It's like he's broken through to become a hero himself. Canet also felt that if Ren made more pacts with mighty races and boosted his power, he could gain strength to defeat the Demon King. Hearing them praise him so highly made Ren feel awkward. Truth be told, when he was with the heroes, that was his goal. But after being expelled, that dream faded. Now, with this group, he's living happily. But deep down, if he could, he'd love to face the challenge. Defeating the Demon King is different from regular quests tied to countless lives. That makes him hesitate. He doesn't yet have the strength to make that decision. It's all thanks to everyone's support that he's here today. So, even if it's late, Ren decided to think it over and give them an answer later. Ren felt this might be the moment he chooses his own path, and it's drawing near. Early one dawn, Ren was awakened by a towel thrown in his face. Today, Ren's group sat together for breakfast. They chatted about how Ren's power had grown after pacting with Sora and her sister. Ren treated them to a feast with the quest reward from Arios. Ren also decided to buy new gear in town. On the way, Sora and her sister clung tightly to Ren's arms, fearing their Spirit Clan identity would be exposed. As they stayed alert, the kids were startled when Tanya's subordinates appeared searching for her. It was the 2 she had beaten at the bridge. Hearing their flattery made Tanya beam with pride. Meanwhile, Canet chatted with the fruit vendor and got an apple for helping carry goods. Seeing Canet and Tanya blend in with humans surprised the sisters. Suddenly, human children appeared, startling them. One kid teased Ren, "Have you brought more wives home?" This made the sisters blush in embarrassment. The kids' compliments on their cuteness only made Sora more flustered, but Runa just laughed heartily. She even threatened to scare them, nearly revealing their identity, until Ren and Sora stopped her. Sora warned Runa that using magic would show their Spirit Clan wings. If humans discovered it, it'd bring endless trouble. Finally, they reached the top weapon shop in town. The dwarf owner was grumpy, and Canet was quite afraid of his stern manner. But Tanya just thought dwarves were all a bit eccentric. Hearing that, the owner shot her a sharp glance, making Canet shudder. Meanwhile, Runa spotted a whip weapon and grew curious. She thought, as a beast tamer, this must be the tool to use. After all, you'd whip it to make anyone obey, right? As expected, Tiruna's mischievous thoughts are making Sora tremble all over in fear. Meanwhile, Ren quickly selects a sharp dagger that fits his hand perfectly. He feels an odd sensation holding it, though on the surface, it's not bad at all. Just then, a towering, muscular man storms in, tosses a pile of coins at the shop owner, and demands the finest sword suited for him. The owner promptly fetches the smallest longsword to sell to him. At that moment, Ren approaches the shop owner with a question. He suspects the owner is hiding something, as the swords don't seem to be the best quality from the outside. Suddenly, everyone falls silent, and then the owner smiles and praises Ren for his keen eye. Just like that staff earlier, all the items here are just things he crafted in his spare time. In other words, he's overcharging for them. So, Sora and the others have to rethink their view of the dwarves. The shop owner gets annoyed with the kids' remarks and decides to show off his heartfelt collection to them. Ren wonders how someone who can create such masterpieces would play tricks on customers like that. The owner sees it as just a small test for them. Lately, customers only think about dumping money for high-end weapons without considering their own abilities or suitability. The weapons he pours his heart into end up discarded when new models appear. That sight frustrates him deeply. As for a blacksmith like him, his creations are like his own children. Suddenly, Tanya appears out of nowhere, rushes to the owner, and shows she truly understands him, making him delighted. After chatting, the dwarf owner warms up and agrees to craft a top-tier weapon just for him. But there's one issue: he lacks the materials. Everyone was excited until that point, and now they're all frozen in shock. Later, Ren's group returns to the guild hall, where they see a bustling crowd, and Canet asks Natalie to learn that the hero Arios is staying here to recruit members for defeating the Demon King. At the mention of this, Ren's expression turns somber, but he doesn't want Canet and Tanya to worry, so he pats their heads and reassures them he's fine. Just then, Natalie notices the two Spirit Clan sisters and greets them. Sora shyly introduces herself after Ren does so timidly. Tiruna, full of confidence, stands tall and boldly states her full name for Natalie to hear. When Natalie asks about their relationship, Tiruna's cheeky response leads to a misunderstanding that Ren has been up to no good with the kids. Ren has to hurriedly explain it all to Natalie. Once done, he hands over the commission form for Natalie to review. In the form, they're requesting to investigate the Midrin mine from Mr. Gans, the weapon shop owner. As Tanya knows, weapons made from Midrin are incredibly durable, lasting a lifetime. Though rare, his ancestors passed the mine down to him, so he hasn't lacked materials until recently. Now, there's no sign of Midrin ore anywhere. Ren doesn't think it's being fully mined out, as the yield would decrease gradually if it were. If it's vanished mysteriously, he believes the cause lies within the mine itself. Without him saying more, Canet and Tanya already know what he plans to do. So, Ren suggests to the owner that they investigate the mine. Seeing the passion and trust in Ren's eyes, the owner agrees to their request. When Mr. Gans mentions the reward for their help, Ren doesn't want money, he just wants the weapon the owner will craft. This surprises and pleases the owner, so he agrees. After that, the group sets off on their journey. Today, the path to the mine feels so close, like they're on a fun outing. In contrast, Sora and Tiruna are exhausted, dizzy and spinning, until they can't take it and dissolve like mist. They rest for a bit, feeling the heat overwhelming, but luckily, a cool lake appears ahead. It's perfect for a dip, so they beg Ren to let them bathe for a while. Before Ren can finish warning them, Canet strips off her clothes. Thankfully, Tanya stops her in time, and Ren sets a temporary pact on the squirrel for safety. If danger comes, it will alert Canet's group right away. As for Ren, he'll catch a quick nap. Over here, the sisters are soaking in the water when suddenly the kids start splashing around. When Canet and Tanya ask, they learn the kids want tips on how to get busty figures like theirs. Canet and Tanya just comfort them, saying it'll happen in time. As they're joking around happily, something in the water startles Canet, making her scream. The water makes her jump and scream. Ren, who was napping, jolts awake and rushes to her side to check, but it turns out Runa was just shoving her hand into a fish to scare Canet. Ren's sudden appearance makes everyone burst into laughter, leaving him embarrassed and turning away. Right after, he has to apologize before the sisters' makeshift court. Surprisingly, Canet and Tanya aren't angry, they're touched that he came running out of worry. Forgiven by the sisters, Ren feels relieved and joyful again. Finally, after all the mishaps, they reach the Midrin mine. They hide and observe, and as Ren thought, there's illegal mining going on, with a bird in the sky signaling its master. Sure enough, the thieves spot them and charge out aggressively. Ren senses they have to step up and fight. He tells the sisters to go easy on them, but going easy won't scare them off. In the end, even Ren can't get any information out of them. Suddenly, Sora suggests viewing their memories with magic. The sisters start viewing the memories and confirm Ren was right. The girl sees images of these men stealing ore, and they're adventurers too. After helping Ren, the sisters hint they want head pats like Canet and Tanya get as rewards. With no other choice, Ren indulges them with head pats, making them overjoyed. This time, they'll sneak into the mine, and Ren warns them to prepare for their identities being exposed, as enemies are watching from the sky. He guesses the enemy side has a beast tamer too. As soon as they enter the mine, a fireball spell hurtles toward them. Luckily, Sora and Runa stand in front and block it. The sisters want to wrap this up quickly for more head pats from Ren. Tanya and Canet quickly join the fight to back them up. As for the last one, Ren will handle him, but even though he's guilty of theft, he refuses to surrender and tries to stab Ren, only to be knocked down. He still won't give up and summons a B-rank beast, Beamos, to fight. Tanya's group realizes this guy is a beast tamer. Normally, taming beasts requires techniques and magic power several times greater than usual. He explains that this beast is one he found as a newborn and raised, so it doesn't see him as an enemy. The Beamos obeys and charges at Ren to attack. Its attacks are so powerful that they fear the mine might collapse. During the fight with the beast, Ren signals them to get the others out to safety first. Outside, Tanya will watch over them, and Canet will go back to help Ren. Ren tells Canet to neutralize the man for him, while he'll handle the Beamos, as it's acting on the man's orders. Instead, to stop it, they need to capture the man quickly. Indeed, the Beamos hits hard, but its attacks are too straightforward. Now that he's figured out its movements, he won't get hit. However, if they don't end this soon, the mine won't hold up. Over here, Canet has just captured the man. Ren thinks of a way to take down the beast, but he's unsure if he can pull it off. Luckily, Canet's encouraging words echo in his mind, motivating him to believe in himself and not let everyone down. Ren succeeds in taming the Beamos and brings it under his control. He overrides the man's control over the Beamos. Normally, stealing control from a beast tamer is impossible, but he thought if he has the strength everyone says, it might work. The man can't accept that his control over the Beamos has been stolen, so he tries to force his commands to stir its power. Unexpectedly, the Beamos turns and attacks him instead. In the heat of danger, Ren stops the Beamos with a fireball, taking it down. The man doesn't understand his defeat, so Ren explains that even with taming, the hostility between beasts and humans can't be erased. It reacted to his hostility, making it lose control. So, Ren has to keep it under his control. After hearing the thieves' story, he learns they all bought weapons from Mr. Gans. They got fake ones that he made in his spare time. Once they found out, they planned revenge by stealing Midrin, so he couldn't forge weapons anymore. Mr. Gans hears this and feels quite troubled. He feels guilty for his dishonest tricks with customers and his weapons as tests. Ren doesn't argue, and agrees with the owner's disappointment. He places a hand on him and advises Mr. Gans to just fix things properly, because everyone makes mistakes, and as long as we recognize and correct them. He encourages him to pour his heart into crafting weapons like before. At his age, being taught by a kid, Mr. Gans isn't upset. Instead, he'll strive to change for the better. To start fresh, Mr. Gans will begin crafting a weapon for Ren. Hearing that, Ren whispers to the owner about wanting it made to his own ideas. Their secret chat piques Canet's group's curiosity. Over here, Arios's group is busy recruiting members but isn't satisfied with anyone. Even a beast tamer applies, but since he can only control one and can't fight, Arios rejects him. The tamer is baffled when Arios asks if he can control the strongest race. For a human beast tamer, controlling the strongest race is simply impossible. The strongest race is impossible. When Arios dismisses the last applicant, he shows a frustrated and tired attitude. Mina feels that not just this man, but all who joined the recruitment have skills that could qualify as supporters. But Arios rejects everyone and keeps comparing them to Ren. She thinks if this continues, their journey won't progress. Defeating the Demon King will remain a distant dream. So, she approaches Arios to say his selection criteria are too harsh, but he snaps back at her. Without Ren around, his anger is now directed straight at her. Though upset, Mina grits her teeth and endures, as it's her duty as a servant of the gods. With that, Arios sends Mina back to rest. Before leaving, she advises him not to obsess, as his mission is to save the world. But for Arios, it's not like that. Before saving the world, his first goal is to eliminate Ren no matter what. The next day, Ren visits the guild hall and asks about the mine thieves from Mr. Gans. Natalie reveals they've been stripped of their adventurer status and forced into labor as punishment. Since theft and beastkeeping are serious crimes, she thinks it's a fitting penalty. Ren steps out with a downcast face and shares the news with Sora and Runa. Later, Ren takes the sisters on a food market tour and buys them delicious hot dogs. They're so tasty that they devour them in seconds and end up regretting it. At that moment, Runa asks Ren about his abilities since making the pact with them. Since he gained physical strength from Canet and enhanced magic from Tanya, they wonder what changed after pacting with them. Though the girls eagerly await his answer, even Ren doesn't know if he has anything special. His blunt response leaves the sisters in a panic of confusion. They guess he must have their race's ultimate magic too. The ultimate magic of their race. Ultimate magic is a secret art beyond advanced and supreme levels, usable only by their spirit clan. Though Sora's group hasn't mastered it, they're hoping Ren received it. But the more they explain, the less Ren understands, disappointing them since he gained nothing like the others after the pact. They even call themselves a failed mission, leaving Ren baffled and opting to pat their heads for comfort. Don't be so sad and blame yourselves. They wonder why Ren trusts them so much. Because they've been abandoned by their village and face tough times. They feel Ren is different, as he already has strong allies but still needs them. So, Ren sits down and explains everything clearly. He even shares his own painful past of lacking confidence and trying to be useful, only to be cast out. From that, he learned to build trust with his chosen companions, and that includes Sora and Runa as his teammates, pact or not. Hearing this story, the kids cheer up and feel more optimistic, easing Ren's mind. As they're strolling, they encounter a blonde troublemaker picking a fight. His words filled the sisters with sheer terror. They thought it was something serious, but it turned out he was just a wandering fool, boldly claiming the two of them as his women. After hearing that, the two girls showed clear disdain on their faces. The golden-haired wanderer had just stepped out and spotted two beautiful women on the street. Sora's face turned pale with fear, as this man she'd met for the first time boldly claimed her as his woman. Meanwhile, Runa beside her was cursing him, calling him a complete idiot. The more they spoke like that, the more the man found them intriguingly captivating. This man was named Eager Fromware, the son of the lord who ruled the city of Horizon. He kept inviting the sisters, Sora and her companion, but they refused, so he resorted to forceful measures. He thought his group of followers would win, but unexpectedly, they were all defeated by Ren in mere moments. Even so, Eager refused to give up and was determined to claim the two sisters at any cost. So, he used the townspeople as leverage. In the town, he held them hostage as punishment, forcing Ren to hand over the sisters. He saw the people as mere tools, caring nothing for their fate. In Ren's mind, the enemy's position felt scattered and unpredictable. If he saved one person, the others might get hurt, leaving him torn on what to do. Though the sisters wanted to help, Ren feared that using magic would reveal they were of the Spirit Clan. Once exposed, they might never live freely in the city again. The sisters had been so joyful, and Ren couldn't bear to let that change. As he searched for a solution, a bold idea flashed in Ren's mind, and he decided to take the risk. He unleashed a continuous stream of fireball spells. This was a unique skill of the Spirit Clan, so Sora and Runa recognized it instantly. Only by doing so could he make the enemy retreat in fear. Sora's group stepped forward to thank Ren for protecting them, and the townspeople admired this beast tamer deeply. Suddenly, an old woman advised them to flee quickly, leaving them quite surprised. Somewhere nearby, Arios didn't notice that Aeger was watching him closely from the shadows. Back home, the sisters excitedly told Kanat and Tanya about Ren's new Spirit Clan skills. Ren felt the same way, as this continuous chanting improved both the power and accuracy, thanks to his pact with them. Now, Sisters Juna could hold their heads high, as they were elite magic envoys, just like Kanet's group, Kanet and the others. Fortunately, they were all safe, so Tanya and Kanat felt relieved. From the city folks' stories, Ren realized Eager was even more terrifying than they imagined. He kidnapped and imprisoned women he liked in his estate, and rumors said he even abused them. The Lord spoiled Aeger because he was his only son, quickly covering up all his wrongdoings. Tanya, boiling with rage, wanted to burn down the Lord's estate, fearing they might target Sora, Ren, or even the townspeople. Ren quietly pondered after learning the dark secrets of the city. He yearned even more to save everyone, but he was held back, seeing himself as just a beast tamer, not a heroic warrior. Seeing his thoughtful expression, Kanat and Tanya guessed his thoughts. They knew he wanted to save everyone, but feared the enemy held power, so he hesitated between his friends and the townspeople. They told him it wasn't just him, they all wanted to protect the city. Feeling everyone's support, Ren gained new strength, resolute to save the city together. Meanwhile, Aeger ordered his soldiers to hide the day's damages and investigate Ren, then bring him in, for he harbored deep humiliation toward Ren, and couldn't let it go. In his fury, he called out a beastkin girl and subjected her to endless torment. On their side, Ren and Kanat went to the Knights Guild to report the damages. When he demanded they investigate Aeger's violent acts, the woman's face turned pale with fear. She stammered, unsure how to respond, as a group of soldiers stepped in to speak with them. They claimed it was just a minor scuffle, so they wouldn't investigate further. Worse, they sneered and warned Ren to watch out for slandering Aeger's name. Their attitude showed they wouldn't help, so Ren turned back. He knew they were covering for Aeger, so even an investigation wouldn't uncover evidence. Suddenly, Kanat sensed someone watching them. It was a female knight named Stella. Misunderstood as a stalker, she bowed in apology, surprising Ren with her humility. Stella was the vice-captain of the Horizon Knights branch. They were surprised when she thanked them before talking. She had heard of adventurers with a cat-eared girl who defeated the Black Fang criminals, something she, as a knight, couldn't achieve. So, she wanted to expose the Lord's wrongs and offered to team up, because the knights colluded with the Lord, forgetting their duties, indulging in vice, and hiding crimes. The captain Gillette was the same, so Stella yearned for the knights to return to their true path. She had watched them accuse Eager, sparking a glimmer of hope in her heart. Stella begged Ren to lend her his strength to fulfill her wish. Ren was a bit suspicious, wondering if it was a trap. But Canet assured him Stella wasn't evil, as she felt no unease. Trusting Canet's judgment, Ren agreed to work with Stella. She asked Ren why he wanted to accuse the Lord's son. When he said it was simply the right thing to do, it made Stella burst into laughter, not out of mockery, but because his serious answer was so endearing. His straightforward nature made her warm up to him quickly. Moved by the moment, Stella's eyes welled up with tears. To comfort her, Ren shook her hand as a gesture of encouragement. Their first step, Ren would help cleanse the knights by setting a trap for them. They'd spread rumors of evidence linking Captain Gilet to the Lord, hidden in a warehouse outside the city. Gilet was skeptical, knowing if true, it would ruin them all. So, he planned to handle it carefully and quickly to deceive the naive knights still dreaming of chivalry. He ordered his soldiers to act, but they were ambushed by Sora and Runa's group inside. Gilet commanded his troops to begin the operation. Unexpectedly, upon entering, they were blocked by Sora and Runa's group. Inside the warehouse, Ren used the new weapon from the dwarf shop. It was an incredible armor that made every shot hit its mark. His final shot was for Gilet, but he dodged it just in time. Recognizing his colleague, Gilet was stunned. Stella didn't hide it, telling him that her team had subdued the knights and uncovered his illicit evidence. Hearing Ren's name, Gilet saw a chance and swung his sword, intending to hand him over to Aga. Stella was furious, charging forward to end this herself. Gilet threatened her with execution for treason and lunged into battle. Though not his equal, Stella stood fearless, rising to fight on. With fierce determination, she thrust her sword, bringing him down. Meanwhile, Aga tormented the girl further upon learning Gilet was captured, and Stella now led the knights. Though cornered, he suddenly felt optimistic, relying on his estate's forces. A voice echoed from the window. It was Arios in disguise, offering to ally against Ren. Hearing that Ren could command the strongest race and might take his status, wealth, and women, Aga boiled with rage. Arios tossed him a ring full of magic power, urging him to use it against Ren. Aga's hatred surged visibly, delighting Arios as it would amplify the ring's power. Promoted to captain, Stella began her investigation. She led soldiers to the Lord's estate, demanding an emergency inquiry. She announced that former Captain Gilet was arrested for bribery. Her demands were denied, and they deployed soldiers to block her. If it came to that, Stella's group donned armor and prepared to attack, with Canet and Tanya's support. Inside the estate, Aga mocked them from afar as they fought outside. He spotted the strongest races under Ren's command entering. He planned to use the ring to break their pact, leaving them without purpose. He would become their new master. Instead, he would become their new master. Meanwhile, Ren and Sora successfully distracted and infiltrated the estate. Their mission was to rescue the hostages. But Runa was too noisy, making Sora and Ren fear Aga might discover and silence them. Later, Runa and Sora used magic to search. Once they found the people, they evacuated them to safety via teleportation. That way, Canet's group could unleash their full power as decoys. Then, they would capture the Lord and his son, securing the illicit evidence for victory. Runa sensed something odd if humans were captured. The massive magic below couldn't be a mistake, but Juna felt a colossal presence that wasn't human. And this magic rivaled the sisters. Ren suspected it was another of the strongest races but wondered why it was here. He left Sora and Runa to search more while he investigated the magic source. Ignoring an unknown figure in this situation would be a grave error. Sora and Runa worried about Ren going alone against something as strong as them, but his reassuring head pat eased their fears. Ren felt guilty for exposing their identities to save everyone. Runa stood up and warned him that if he didn't return safely, she'd punish him with 100 head rubs. Ren began his search and suspiciously entered a room. He was surprised to find a sturdy steel cage inside, and inside was someone like a fox with 3 tails. He couldn't mistake it was one of the strongest races, the Divine Clan. He quickly destroyed the lock and rushed in to heal the girl, leaving her terrified. The girl, named Nina, heard he was an ally and tearfully hugged him. The strongest Divine Clan. Nina belonged to the strongest Divine Clan. She had lived happily in a peaceful village. Day by day she enjoyed sweet dreams, and met kind villagers who cherished her. Until one day, Aga's arrival changed Nina's life. He forced her into captivity, threatening the villagers' safety. Timid Nina obeyed, putting on the slave collar enchanted with magic herself. Then, he subjected her to violent abuse for his twisted pleasure. Alone, she endured the painful wounds, filling her with fear. Ren wanted to save Nina, but she said the collar was sealed with powerful magic. Ren assured her to trust him, so she sat quietly, waiting for his help. Ren tried to seize control with his power again, but the collar's strength caused him immense pain. Seeing Ren suffer, Nina blamed herself even more. Suddenly, Ren remembered he had not just his strength, but also Kanet's power and the sisters Sora and Runa. Gathering everyone's might, he cast the spell and successfully shattered the collar for Nina. Outside the city, they clashed fiercely with the soldiers. Seeing they couldn't beat Kanet's group, the enemies took hostages in the basement as bait. Unexpectedly, Sora and Runa had just handled the rest and evacuated all hostages to safety. Leaving the outside to them, Stella charged into the estate to capture the Lord and his son. In the estate, the Lord, seeing the chaos, told his son Aeger to flee first while he stayed to destroy the evidence. As everyone entered, Ren had just rescued Nina. Everyone was surprised to see another of the strongest races, so they teased Ren for getting involved with another girl. Ren was flustered, unable to deny his unintended charm. Sora found it rare, as the divine clan was usually worshipped and rarely appeared before humans, yet here she was. With Nina's soft fur, the girl Kanet seemed delighted with Nina's soft fur. Though shy, the girl obediently went along. Stella arrived and thanked Ren profusely, as his help made her plan succeed. Just then, the Lord tried to escape with his belongings, but met the group waiting in the hall. Ren used his weapon to fire ropes and bind the Lord. Suddenly, Aeger burst in and unleashed deadly magic from the ring, stabbing Ren before he could react. Arios on the rooftop felt triumphant, as his scheme had succeeded. But he never imagined Ren would emerge unscathed, leaving them all deeply worried. That was the supreme magic of the Grim Reaper's scythe, meant to bring instant death, yet Ren remained completely unaffected. The group, including Kanet, grew even more in awe of Ren, as he seemed to withstand every magic attack. But Runa seemed lost in thought, then called out to him and released a cloud of poison across his entire body. Sora saw this and quickly grabbed her little sister's neck, scolding her for being so reckless. After all, in this world, no demon servant would ever cast poison magic on their own master. Deep down, Runa had always wondered if it was unfair that Ren only gained one skill from his pact with her and her sister. So, after this incident, she pieced it together his skill must neutralize all abnormal states, thanks to the pact with them. That's why the poison just now had no effect at all. In the end, her curiosity was satisfied, and she finally uncovered Ren's new ability. Sora was furious that Runa dared to test it on Ren without telling her first. The sisters' loud argument made little Nina tremble in fear. Meanwhile, Aeger up above was seething with disappointment, unable to believe he had failed. Just as Arios predicted, Ren was stripping everything away from him, fueling the ring's dark power with his growing hatred. That demonic energy began to spread across Aeger's body, releasing a foul, overwhelming stench. The eerie purple force swallowed Aeger whole, resurrecting the demon race once more. This was the very force that had shattered Ren's childhood long ago. The newly revived demon found it intriguing, but since there were too few people here, it soared toward the city to wreak havoc on the innocents. Ren sensed the danger, fearing the townspeople would suffer if it reached them, but when he turned around he saw his true comrades waiting, ready to stand by his side. With a shared understanding, Ren began to devise a plan. He asked Stella to protect the people and little Nina, but at that moment, Nina clutched Ren's sleeve and expressed her desire to help. Ren knew Nina hated fighting, so he gently reassured her. "Don't worry, little one, just stay safe and wait for us to return." Ren's group dashed toward the town to halt the demon's destructive rampage. Of the demon. Whispers spread that Ren would take it down. Whispers echoed that Ren would defeat it himself. The demon laughed wildly, thrilled by the challenge from Ren. Seizing the demon's moment of vulnerability, Kanet and Tanya launched a direct assault. Ren used binding ropes to distract it, giving the little squirrel a chance to cast the perfect magic spell. Yet, in reality, their attacks seemed utterly futile against it. Seeing it was 5 against 1, and Ren's side had 4 of the strongest races, the demon politely called for reinforcements. It summoned a horde of minions it charmingly called its adorable servants. To Kanet's group, though, these creatures were nothing but minor pests. What they didn't expect was that the demon could summon an endless swarm of these monsters. Kanet charged in boldly, only to be blasted away by the demon's strike and sent crashing to the ground. Furious, Tanya unleashed her dragon breath to battle the demon head-on. Meanwhile, Sora and Runa focused on healing Kanet. But Tanya's dragon breath couldn't hold against the demon's power, and she collapsed from exhaustion. The demon began unleashing spells, demolishing houses throughout the city. Ren's group unleashed their magic once more, striking back with all their might. Ren enhanced multiple targets, boosting Kanet and Tanya's strength. Both of them charged in wildly, attacking with fierce determination, yet their punches barely made a dent. Worse still, the demon summoned even more monsters to surround Ren's group. Leaving its minions behind, the demon took to the skies, aiming to shatter the horizon. In a panic, Tanya spewed her dragon fire, managing to hold it back for a moment. At that instant, a bold idea flashed in Ren's mind. But if he acted on it, the city's people would be in grave danger. So, Sora's group volunteered to support him by teleporting the civilians to safety with their magic. Meanwhile, Ren's team would focus on eliminating the demon. They assured him not to worry about their identities being exposed, as those they saved in the mansion already knew the truth. After finalizing the plan, each group set off to their tasks. On the other side, Arios's hero group was still debating whether to join the fight, especially since demons are the vanguard of the Demon King. Arios rejected any involvement, claiming their true enemy is the Demon King, so they should leave the rest alone. Mina and August wanted to object but hesitated out of fear of Arios. At the same time, Stella's knights marched into battle to protect the civilians. Stella refused to let anyone give up, as their mission is to safeguard both the people and the city. Sora and Runa suddenly rushed over, breathless, and pleaded for help with evacuating the civilians. Stella agreed to assist without a second thought. Once they heard the plan, Stella and her soldiers departed, leaving Nina in Sora's group for protection. Canet and Tanya kept fighting tirelessly to rescue the civilians from the monsters. Their role was to clear a path for the people to reach Sora's teleportation magic. Humans were stunned to see the spirit race, who typically despised humans and couldn't bring themselves to trust it. They feared jumping into the magic circle would put them in even greater peril. Sora and Runa looked disheartened by the doubt. The hot dog vendor from earlier recognized them and approached with a warm smile. The kind uncle grinned cheerfully and volunteered to step into the magic circle first. Then, the little girl they had met in town recognized them and started chatting. Soon, others they had saved followed suit and entered one by one. The sisters began casting their magic, successfully transporting everyone to safety. Before they could evacuate everyone, a soldier reported that the monsters were closing in. Runa handed over the magic casting to her sister and charged forward to hold them off. As they battled the endless wave of monsters, Canet and Tanya were pushed to their limits. Fortunately, the adventurers that Tanya had once disciplined showed up to lend a hand. Not just them, but other adventurer groups saw this as a special quest and rallied to support Ren's team. Now, they were acting as knights, driving back the monsters invading the city. With Arios's hero group absent, Natalie knew this would be a tough battle. Even the renowned Gun, owner of the top weapon shop in the city, offered to provide everyone with battle gear. These were all soul-forged weapons he had crafted with his own hands. United in resolve, they banded together to defend Horizon City and pave the way for Ren's group to advance. Nina watched her friends pour their hearts into protecting one another, igniting a new strength within her. Though she feared getting hurt or harming others, seeing everyone fight so selflessly sparked a fresh determination in her. Despite closing in, Ren felt the distance to the demon was still too great. Canet suggested letting Tanya transform into a dragon and fly them up. But Tanya couldn't do it, as the current setup made it impossible. Even if they approached, they'd just become easy targets and couldn't reach it. Sora's teleportation magic wasn't precise enough, but she knew of someone with that gift, the supreme god race. At that very moment, Nina ran over to Ren and hugged him tightly. Seeing her, Canet and Tanya suddenly remembered. They recalled that the god race has a unique ability no other supreme race possesses: instant spatial teleportation. Ren asked if she could help them. Though Nina was shy, she nodded and agreed to lend him her power. Canet and Tanya would handle the monsters below, while Ren and Nina pressed on toward the demon. Ren used Gun's gauntlets to dodge the attacks as they moved. When the demon hurled a massive magic orb at Ren, Nina instantly teleported them right in front of it, leaving the demon bewildered. The sudden teleportation caught the demon off guard, filling it with caution. Ren amplified his inner strength, then surprised the demon by teleporting close and overriding its control over the monsters. The demon couldn't believe a human could steal its command so easily. When it demanded to know Ren's identity, he just smiled and said he was merely an ordinary beast tamer. Enraged, the demon shattered Ren's binding spell and lunged to attack. To its shock, Ren commanded its own monsters to turn against it, overwhelming the demon until it faded into nothingness. Though it was beyond the demon's expectations, it found Ren fascinating and asked for his name before vanishing, only to be met with Ren's cold refusal. Finally, it was over, but Nina, exhausted beside him, began to fall from the sky. Luckily, Tanya caught them just in time, ensuring their safe landing. The sun over Horizon City shone brightly once more. After the chaos, the city slowly returned to its vibrant, lively state. Stella officially took her place as the captain of the Knights. Ren knew she would transform the Knights into something truly remarkable. From what she shared, those involved in the dark schemes had been sent to the capital for punishment. Stella also looked into the story of Nina's village. Apparently, the villagers abandoned it after Nina was taken. But Ren believed that as long as they were alive, reunion would come in time. Canet threw himself into restoring the city, as if he had fully become one of its own. Tanya was still hiding her dragon race identity, though it seemed everyone had known for a while. Sora and Runa were blending into city life, occasionally stopping by the hot dog stand for a treat. Even though he had saved everyone like a true hero, Ren couldn't accept the title, seeing himself as just an ordinary beast tamer anywhere. Canet's group always dismissed his humble words. After helping in the battle, Nina wanted to become part of Ren's strength, just like the others. Understanding her, Ren welcomed her, though he had already made pacts with everyone else. Forming a pact with Nina now made him a bit unsure, but seeing the encouraging looks from everyone, Ren decided to take the risk. A few minutes later, Ren successfully formed the pact with Nina. Just then, Canet and Tanya rushed over to hug and cuddle the little beast girl. Even Sora and Runa were delighted, as they never had such a cute little sister before. After reuniting, Ren's group headed to the guild and spotted Stella. And danger. Stella mentioned that from now on, adventurers, they wondered why the Knights captain was at the Adventurers Guild. Stella explained that from now on, adventurers and knights would collaborate to maintain security. Everyone was thrilled that things were heading in a positive direction. Stella was deeply grateful to them, as Ren's group made her dream of restoring the knights possible. At that moment, Natalie approached with some business. Seizing the opportunity, Natalie announced that the guild would promote Ren to C-rank adventurer. Ren thought she was overdoing it, since he had just reached E rank recently. But Natalie had solid reasons for jumping him 2 ranks straight to C without issue. She even joked about promoting him to A rank to make it fair. And there was a mountain of rewards, including a hefty sum of money. Feeling generous with his full pockets, Ren invited everyone to a feast. By the way, Natalie noticed the new face in Nina. Ren introduced Nina as his latest team member. Unable to resist, Natalie scooped the little one into her arms. Upon closer look, she realized Nina was of the god race and panicked a bit. She whispered to Ren if treating her like a child would make Nina angry. When Nina replied no, Natalie hugged her even tighter, and soon the sisterhood joined in to pamper her. With that settled, Ren discussed the team. Now that the group had grown so large, their current in-room felt cramped. Hearing this, Natalie suggested they buy a house and offered to introduce options, with the guild even providing subsidies for capable adventurers wanting to settle in the city. Her persuasive gaze made Tanya sense she was determined not to let them leave the city. When Ren asked for everyone's opinion, they all agreed to stay. Ren had saved up quite a bit, and with the guild's subsidy he decided to sign the house contract. After viewing several house designs, the sisters weren't satisfied with any. When Natalie showed the last one spacious and comfortable, they were instantly hooked. This house was built of wood with a large garden, just as Canet and Sora wished. It had over 10 rooms with big beds as Tanya requested, and the kitchen plus bath that Runa and Nina wanted were fully equipped. Plus, the furniture fit right within Ren's budget. Tanya asked why Natalie didn't show this great house first. Runa sensed there was some scheme at play. Natalie, caught red-handed, backed away in a fluster. With everyone's eyes on her, she admitted the truth. This place had reports of a white-dressed ghost. Canet, hearing about it, hid behind Ren in fear. Tanya was disappointed, as one of the strongest races shouldn't fear ghosts. This time, even the little ones had to comfort him. Everyone swallowed hard in tension as they waited for Natalie to share the story. It started with pillows flipping over while napping. Then, bath water turned from hot to ice cold. Sugar and salt got swapped in meals, and rotten eggs appeared in shoes, causing quite the laugh. Worse, leftover sauce stained the laundry that was almost dry. By now, Canet was so scared his tail curled up. Though they're a bit reluctant to stay here, letting this place slip away would be such a deep regret. So, Ren proposed a plan. They'd investigate the house right in front of them and then think carefully about what they could do next. As Ren's group opened the door and stepped inside, the house was pitch black and eerie. The moment Nina sneezed, Canet grabbed Tanya's tail tightly and yanked it in panic. It didn't feel like a haunted house at all, since everything was spotlessly clean, as if it had been tidied regularly. Suddenly, the tables, chairs, and objects around them started shaking and moving on their own, with voices even shouting for them to leave. Canet, who was terrified of ghosts, scrambled around in utter chaos. Right in front of them, a woman in a maid's outfit appeared, chasing them away with fierce determination. Sora's group tried casting magic to banish the mischievous spirit, but the woman still hung upside down from the ceiling, refusing to back down, because using too much force would blow away the spirit. The sisters were discussing what kind of magic to use, because using too much force would blow away the spirit and the house itself, to drive them out no matter what. Tanya hearing that, the spirit seemed frightened but still caused havoc to drive them out no matter what. Tanya noticed that the spirit didn't seem to know how to attack properly. The spirit was clearly furious about its weaknesses being exposed, but spotting someone who was deeply afraid, it popped its head up from the floor to scare Canet, sending her running wildly. In a twist of fear, Canet lashed out with her claws, tearing the spirit's clothes and leaving it in total confusion. Tanya realized they could harm the spirit's ethereal form with physical attacks. With Canet's fear reaching its peak, now it was the spirit itself that trembled in terror. Canet went wild, biting at the dress and smashing things, and even startling the spirit right back with her sudden outburst. Seizing the moment, Sora and Runa cast a sealing spell to trap the spirit so it couldn't escape. As Canet bristled and lunged forward, Tanya grabbed her by the neck, holding her midair like a frenzied cat. Now, Ren began negotiating with the spirit. The spirit tried one last desperate move, lunging to possess Ren, but it failed. He had sealed the spirit's movements because, as a child, he once heard stories from his neighbor about ghosts and spirit tamers, though he didn't reveal how he could control a spirit like her. Since the spirit before him still had a clear personality, unlike ordinary ghosts, Ren thought she might listen to him more easily, struggling like a fish out of water. As the spirit tried to react, Ren pinned it to the floor, leaving it struggling like a fish out of water. Realizing she was defeated, she surrendered, giving him full freedom to do as he wished. To her surprise, Ren extended a hand for friendship, making her laugh at how oddly charming he was. She introduced herself as Tina, once a maid in another town, but she passed away 30 years ago and drifted here as an unrested spirit. Tanya wondered how she became a ghost, so Tina shared that her master was a twisted, cruel man obsessed with women and torture. She was one of his victims, and by the time she realized it, she had already awakened as a ghost. Since she lost to Ren's group, she accepted that it was time to leave. Ren asked Canet what she thought, and she said that though she's scared, being with everyone might make it okay. So, Ren politely asked Tina if they could live here together. Tina was shocked, as she had planned to leave. But for Ren, her presence was what let them snag this house at a bargain, so he invited her to stay with them. Canet just asked that Tina not keep floating through walls to scare them. Sora and Runa thought that, as a former maid, she must be great at cooking and wanted her to teach them. With everyone welcoming her so warmly, Tina happily agreed to stay. After that, Ren successfully signed the house purchase contract. Natalie was amazed by him, realizing that if Ren could befriend a ghost, his skills must be truly extraordinary. At the market, the fruit seller was busy when he encountered Arios's hero group. Arios demanded the seller pick out a week's worth of food for them, but they had no money and even flaunted their hero status to get it for free. The seller refused, saying he didn't have enough stock to give away. When they kept mentioning their hero team status, the seller grew visibly annoyed and scolded them for not helping the world yet acting so superior. Along with that, the other merchants also refused to provide food for them. The surrounding townsfolk began mocking and criticizing them, making Arios furious and storm off in a rage. Hearing them mention Ren only fueled Arios's growing hatred. Meanwhile, as Ren returned from the market with Canet, she suddenly ran ahead and greeted him warmly, surprising him. That evening, they all gathered for a housewarming feast. All the food was prepared under Tina's guidance by Runa. Runa was so confident that from now on, she'd be the one in the kitchen, not her sister. With so much food, little Nina didn't know where to start. Meanwhile, Canet and Tanya lost all control, diving straight for their favorite meat dishes. In that moment, little Nina felt surrounded by love and warmth. She expressed her thanks to Fen for making her feel less alone. Nina's words stirred memories of the past in Ren. The day he lost everything, a vast emptiness had filled his heart. But now, it's different, because they are his true companions. Tina watched them with admiration, though adventures with Arios's group couldn't fill that void. Becoming an adventurer for a free life and meeting everyone brought him warmth like never before. In a surge of emotion, tears welled up in his eyes, but he brushed it off, saying it was just from hunger. Then, they all dug into the housewarming meal together. And so, the tale of the beast tamer expelled from the hero's party and his encounter with the strongest cat-eared girls comes to an end. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to get more amazing stories like this.